Okay, I'm here. I'm not, I shouldn't be mute. Samir? Good Lord. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? I know there's a, okay. Samir, are you there? Is everybody there?
Yes.
Everybody's here, right? Okay, Samir, that's good. And Bill is there, and Ed is there, and Howard is there. Welcome, everyone. I'll give others a few minutes to join in. This way we can have a good conversation. And if you need to chat with me, put your hand up. That way I know. I don't know why it's so grainy, but I'm going to be checking the chat box for anyone who wants to chat, or if the sound is not okay, or whatever you think is happening. Shall we give people a few more minutes? Consensus from everyone? Just raise your hand and say yes. Good. Okay, Bill. Wonderful. So we will wait 2 minutes just so that people can come in. Is it raining outside? Anybody know? Perhaps it is. I'm down in the basement. Found the right spot to do this Zoom meeting. What I am going to now start, because we've given people 2 minutes more. Oh no, 1 more minute to go. I can say hello to everyone. Hi, Barkat. Hi, Jenny. Hi, Farzana. Hi, Ed. Hi, Bill. Hi, Samir. Hi, Patricia. Samir, how many people on the Facebook as you're live streaming it? Just give me a chat. And then I can proceed. Okay, we've given enough time. Oh, good. So we have Facebook people as well. Thank you. So what I thought I'd do today is basically thank everyone for being on the call, and number two, for practicing physical distancing. We know everybody is getting really tired. The weather is going to be nicer, and people want to go out. And some of the provinces have decided to lift restrictions on a interim basis, on a schedule basis. So if you look at it, Saskatchewan is planning to go first. As a province, it has the right to do what it wants. However, as a federal government, we caution people to follow the guidance and the guidelines implemented and given to us by the chief uh, medical officer and the chief health officer. And it is important that we do not think that this virus has gone away. As we know, this is a marathon, not a sprint. And as such, we must be extremely careful that we do not spook ourselves. Because if it hits us again, we'll be in a real bad shape. So let us be very cautious. I know we are all anxious to go. I know Howard takes his car and goes to watch some sheep out there, but we can always find something to do. And I'm sure we all have things that we can do, exercises at home, go for a walk, but be careful about how we take our walks and not go to crowded places. Just to let you know that yesterday was the first time that the parliament met virtually. So we were all in parliament, and the session was held, and we had a 2.5 hour question period. Normally, question period is 40 minutes. So there are two virtual sessions that we do for 2.5 hours, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And on Wednesday, it is a sitting day, so that members who are close by and who are asked to come in to maintain the physical distancing, they go to Parliament. And today, Parliament is debating the approval for the $9 billion that we had set aside for students. And this is the Canada Emergency Benefit and other things in it. So today is when Parliament is meeting. Tomorrow we'll have virtual Parliament. And when we did virtual Parliament, all of us met at least half an hour earlier. And it was very interesting to note the amount of camaraderie between every party, because there was no camera and nobody was playing to the camera. And I think that's a very important aspect of democracy, that we are all there working for Canadians and that we do it in a respectful manner. Having said that, I now need to recap bring to the attention of everyone who is online that there are certain clarifications that we need to do because of the questions we are getting. The first one, if you have lost your income because of COVID-19, you are eligible to access the CERB. And I have had calls from self-employed people who are asking, what about me? But the CERB is available for you, because as a government, we want to ensure nobody is left out. So the CERB rules changed. The first one was for a specific number of people, but as the Prime Minister got the input from us, changes were made. So it includes self-employed, seasonal workers, gig workers. So please remember, do go onto the website we have provided you, canada.ca/coronavirus, to get all the updates. On a daily basis, there are updates. And so we do not want people to be overwhelmed with information, but we want them to understand that the government is trying to look after all. Is it okay now, Ed? Is audio back? Say yeah. Okay, good. So I think there is something strange with my computer. So, but I think remind me if I run out of sound. So with this, if you were applying for if you were applying for EI and you did it before March 15th, and you did not apply for CERB, and you were not automatically registered for CERB, please go and apply, because the EI did stop and the CERB was your segue into getting the economic benefits. So that's what I wanted to suggest to anybody who has applied for EI and then couldn't figure out why they were not getting any money. Some of the people thought they got double payment. They haven't received double payment because the EI was backlogged. So they got their EI and then they could apply for CERB. The next component of CERB is if you are working and you have lost, I guess you've got lost hours, but you are making $1,000, you can still apply for CERB. Jennifer, you want me to answer the question, or shall I finish? That is looking to apply, the sub-plan. I will talk about sub-plan in a minute, but if you give me, let me finish this. So what I wanted to say is the CERB is an important economic safety net for people looking for safety nets. The next issue we received was for the Canada Emergency Wage Benefit. Now, if you are receiving if you are a business and you have $20,000 in payroll, you are eligible to apply for the Canada Emergency Wage Benefit. The CRA has a calculator to help you understand how much you will receive. However, I've had questions from self-employed people who are working out of their home and who are self-employed and don't have any employees. If you don't have any employees, of course you won't get this Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy. And of course, if you're paying yourself through dividends, you have created a tax environment for yourself where you have avoided paying taxes, or you have come to a very low tax bracket. And so if the bank then says you do not have a payroll, the bank is right, because there are strict guidelines that are given to the banks as well. So the banks will only give you a loan, it's called the Canada Emergency Bank Advance. They will only give that to you. That's the $40,000 guaranteed by the government of Canada if you meet certain criteria. So I hope everybody knows about that. The next one we got was from businesses, small businesses, who are wondering what to do now that they have closed down their businesses, and what about their rent and how are they going to manage. So in terms of rent, remember that the Landlord Tenant Act, commercial and residential properties or the rental agreements are within the jurisdiction of the province. What the federal government tried to do was help the provinces by supplying money. And so we said to the landlords, if you reduce rent by 75%, then you will be able to access certain benefits. But if you can't, if you are a tenant and you can't even pay that 25% rent, I am sure you can make deals with your landlord, because the landlord will lose tenancy. He or she or the corporation has no idea when they'll find other tenants. So I think it is important for you to negotiate with your landlord. Um, I want to get paid from July 1st. Farzana, okay, so I will answer first the question from Jennifer. Jennifer, your organization, if anybody knows what the S-sub is, it's the Supplementary Unemployment Benefit. At the current time, with CERB, subs are not allowed. You can't top up the EI. You used to be able to top up the EI till your whatever the payment amount you negotiated with the government. But under the current circumstances, because CERB and EI, the EI has rolled into CERB, you are not eligible. I've checked with finance and you're not eligible. There are certain other organizations that have asked us the same question. Farzana, if you want to get it from July 1st, apply for CERB. Absolutely, if you are impacted because of COVID-19 and you have either lost your job or you have the company has no money to pay, but it wants to retain you, the company can apply for wage subsidy and give you 75% of your salary, or you can go on to CERB. CERB is open from May to October. So hopefully by then the crisis will be over. Have I answered your questions? I'm looking at the chat, Jennifer. Okay, there you go. Okay, let me come down and see who is. We've got the audio working. Farzana, does it answer your question? And Jennifer, does it answer? Is there something that can be done to allow us to apply for sub? No, nothing. I have had numerous conversations, Jennifer, with the finance department, and they tell me that it's dipping into the same pool twice. And for the time being, no, you cannot apply for sub. However, once CERB is, once CERB is done, yes, Jennifer, I know their unions were granted special permission, but that is disallowed. The unions have asked us the same question because they asked me whether they could do the subs. I passed it on to finance and I received the response, no. So once they said, once CERB is finished, you are able to then top up sub. I know it's difficult, but if you send us specifically your situation, we have asked people, if you are doing a top up of sub, why aren't you doing instead the Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy? Keep people on your payroll, and even if you pay them $1,000, they will get another $2,000 from CERB. If they get $3,000, then they might be better off. Sorry, what do you mean, Jennifer, that you do not qualify? Could you please expand on it? What don't you qualify for? Don't you qualify for CEWS? Everyone qualifies for CEWS if they are able to keep people on their payroll. The purpose of the Canada Emergency, you don't qualify because the 75, why wouldn't you qualify for the, okay. Jennifer, I think I need you to send me an email on my parliamentary account, yasmin.ratansi@parl.gc.ca. Explain exactly what your situation is, and then I will be able to give you a researched answer, because all businesses who have been applying for the supplementary unemployment benefits have been able to qualify, have been told, given the answer, and they've been given other options. And the other option is the Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy. So write to me and I will definitely send you the information. Farzana, you sent me something about EI. If you are on EI and your EI completes in July, yes, you will be able to go on to CERB because you have no other source of income. So Farzana, if you can, explain to our office what your exact situation is. It says, please read the email. I do not, oh, no, please read the message. Sorry, Farzana, I am going to see where your message is. Wait till I scroll down, Farzana, and see what your message was. I won't get paid from July. Can I apply to CERB while I work for school? Farzana, if you work for a school, the schools are closed, and I don't know when the schools are going to be open. So yes, you are eligible for CERB. And I would suggest to everyone, apply. It is CRA that will then let you know if you've been overpaid or underpaid or whatever. But do apply to keep yourself afloat. Does that answer your question? If it doesn't, then what I suggest, Farzana, is you write in detail to me, and I will definitely address the issue. And this email that you need to send is yasmin.rotansi@paul.gc.ca. Now, I am trying to figure out if anybody else has any issues that they would like for me to address. And because I have sent out emails and flyers, I'm going to hold up. We're not allowed to do this in Parliament because it's called props, but I'm going to put it up and say, here is what I have been sending you. And it is a huge amount of information that we send you. If there are specific areas that you need to address, let me know. So I'm going to now address issues that businesses have raised with me. And some of the businesses have said because they are new, they are startups, they had to shut down. The government of Canada has allocated $625 million. And if you want to write to our office, we will tell you how to get to FedDev Ontario. It's the Federal Development Agency of the Government of Canada, which has been given the task to look after anybody else who falls through the cracks. Because we have tried to address as many permutations and combinations as we can. But there are people that may fall through the cracks, and we don't want anybody to fall through the cracks. So if there's questions or concerns, I suggest that you write to me. I get answers immediately from our triage system, and the government has been very, very responsive to the input that you guys give us. It was because of your input that we reduced, for example, the qualification for the Canada Emergency Bank Assistance from $50,000 payroll of a minimum of $50,000 to a minimum of $20,000. So please don't forget that your input is extremely, extremely, extremely critical to us. Because if you don't tell us, we don't know. Okay, Farzana, thank you. I look forward to your emails. Sometimes, because we don't know what your problems are, if we look at the email, we figure out what the issue is, then we are able to triage it in the correct manner, and then we are able to give you the right information. If you have been watching the Prime Minister, every day the announcements that came through were because of your input. The collective input of Canadians has enabled the government to make so many changes. Investments in research and development, investment in asking, for example, Procurement Canada invited businesses to participate and prepare PPEs, etc., because we wanted ventilators, we wanted Canadian ventilators. We don't want to rely on external sources that we do not, which are probably not reliable. So to date, there are 6,000 businesses that have registered on the procurement website. And if you need us to supply that to you, I would ask Samir, please put that website on the chat, and so that people will be able to access it. In terms of the summer and employment for the youth, the Canada Summer Jobs Program was made flexible. Ed, thank you. The Canadian procurement, I'll stop talking. I just want to answer that question. Ed, you are absolutely right. Canadian procurement is key, and that is why there have been businesses that have come to the rescue. Actually, we have been very fortunate that 6,000 Canadian businesses not volunteered, registered, and have started the production and are providing the PPEs and ventilators. And we have had suggestions that we could change the GM plant to produce ventilators for us as well. So everything that we are receiving from you is critical. It is important. Please ensure that you are being listened to and that your input is very, very important. And information on procurement is https://buyandsell.ca, and you will be able to access. I know there's Burkett he has an engineering firm, and I'm hoping that he also participates in the procurement that the government of Canada is looking for. So do provide that information to us. So in terms of Canada Summer Jobs, what I wanted to say is that the deadline passed April 24th. The deadline for application was extended to April 24th. We made our submission to the Service Canada. This is the one and only time that the MPs have absolute control over the number of jobs and which organizations get it. And in our case, in Don Valley East, there were a huge amount of organizations that applied. Unfortunately, because of COVID-19, they couldn't take in these students. So then we scrambled to look for more organizations in Don Valley East, mostly working virtually. So for example, if you are running a camp and the schools are closed and you're not allowed to use school facility, of course you can't access those dollars. However, if you were creative enough and created a virtual environment, then you were able to get the funding. So I am happy to report that in Don Valley East, at least 204 jobs were given or are going to be given to the youth. And this time, the Canada Summer Jobs the criteria was made flexible because we wanted private organizations to receive the same benefit that the not-for-profit organizations get, which is 100% wage subsidy. The wage rate is $14 an hour. So if, for example, you are unable to get an employee because either they are not willing to work during this time, you should have applied And I was told that I may have a little leeway depending on how much funds have been used across Canada by all the MPs. If it is, if Farzana will give you the website in a minute, the Canada Summer Jobs website. Samir, if you could put down, Farzana, what happens is, number one, the employers have to submit their names. So I will explain the process so that nobody gets confused. The employers submit their application. Service Canada approves it, sends it off to the MP to review it. And we look at the number of jobs that all these organizations have applied for. And then we see the priorities of Don Valley East and say, well, does it meet the priorities? i.e., is it helping the vulnerable students? Is it meeting our priorities of diversity, etc., the income disparity? And then we approve or disapprove of those organizations. This time I've not disapproved of any organizations. The organizations have voluntarily told us they cannot hire. So then we had to look for more organizations. Now, once these organizations get the funding, they will be told by Service Canada to hire. That time, those businesses, and I can absolutely share with you the businesses that are looking for people. So if you, Farzana, if you are, they are looking for opportunities to work this summer, yes, they can apply through the job bank because that's where smart ones, Farzana, because job bank is where the employees, the employers are going to put their jobs. So check the job bank and check with us as well as to which organizations are in the riding that are looking for people. And most of them are either not-for-profit organization or for-profit who are open and who are creative and innovative in the way that they are operating. So Farzana, yes, you can go to the job bank. Okay, thank you. Ed, okay. You know what? I think you are, Ed, your input is very important. Yes, we will encourage Canadian businesses to try and export internationally. You know, people don't realize, but we are the only country in the G7 that has trade agreements with all G7 countries. And if I'm not mistaken, we have signed additionally 100 trade agreements with different countries. We are a small country of 35 or 37 million. We are punching above our weight. However, we need businesses to be export ready. So if anybody is familiar or you have been reading my the householders that I send out, or my 10%ers, you will see the businesses I identify as have received loans or guarantees from the government of Canada through Export Development Corporation. They are in the innovation area and they are receiving funding to export their products, and they are value added, and they employ 60 to 70 Canadians here. So Ed, your input is very well taken, and you are right. We have a low dollar at the moment, but hopefully that will help our export. And I'll pass that on to Export Development Corporation and to Minister Ng as well. Now, I want to have some more questions from people because I think I have answered generally all the questions that I received from people. I am sure I have answered all the questions. I forgot one more. Those that are stranded abroad, please, if you're stranded or if you have a relative or a friend that's stranded abroad, tell them that they must register with travel.gc.ca. Otherwise, the High Commission or the missions abroad have no idea you're there. I'm having lots of concerns and questions from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and well, we have been very lucky. We got people back from Peru and Honduras, etc. But people need to understand that if you are uh, struck, stuck somewhere, countries like India had closed their airspace, Pakistan had closed its airspace, and so Air Canada was not willing to fly there. So if you had an Air Canada ticket, you were out of luck. So you needed to go and rebook. And people says, oh, the airlines are gouging. No, the airlines are not gouging. This is what the protocol is. Because of the lockdown, for example, I'll give you an example of India. Because of the lockdown in India, there was no ground crew. And because there is no ground crew, they can only use the ground crew that's of Air India. And so they negotiated with Air India on the basis of how many people were wanting to travel back to Canada. The problem is Air India has to go fill up its planes, keep a physical distancing on its plane, and then fly to Canada. It's a long flight. It's about a 16-hour flight. And then it has to come back empty. It can't come back full. The same used to happen with Air Canada's flights. They had to come empty from Canada, pick up passengers, and then not even the pilots could not even get off the plane. Can you imagine the stress that those pilots had? So everybody be mindful that the airline industry is maintaining, is trying to help us as much as it can, but also it has to look after its liquidity. And we don't want to be we don't want to bail out airlines. So let's be very, very prudent and mindful of what's happening. So the only airline that is leaving India is Qatar. Air India is not working out well for us, so we have taken Qatar. In Pakistan, the commercial flights were all declined. Now there's been a little bit of relief, and it's only the Pakistan International Airline that's leaving Karachi, Lahore, and Islamabad. So if anybody is stuck, please phone our office and we will give you the right things you are supposed to do. And with that, I'm trying to figure out, I'm going to go back to chat to see if anybody else has given me anything. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't have any more questions? So I need to tell you, if you want to watch us on Virtual Parliament, it is easy. Go to ParlVu, PARLVU, and you will be able to see how the Parliament is functioning virtually. And it was quite interesting to see how collegial everyone was. Yes, some of the people wanted to take pot shots on certain issues. And Samir has given you the streaming of the ParlVu. Farzana, the summer jobs are not virtual. Some of them are administrative. It depends on which organization. So I'm going to answer you. It depends, Farzana, on which organization has applied. And what is their activity? If it's a private corporation and it says it can do things, I'll give you one example, Songwriters Association. So they have applied. So they will be, if your son or daughter or your kids are savvy with the virtual stuff, they'll be able to help the songwriters do whatever they want, whether it's songwriting, it's editing, whatever. So it is important to note that not everyone is virtual. Some are virtual, some want external work, like some co-ops want maintenance work, so that's what they will get. As long as they are maintaining, yes, Farzana, your son is 19, it doesn't matter, it's from 15 to 30 now. The age range has changed, so it's 15 to 30. It used to be 15 to 25. So no, your son will be able to get the job, hopefully get employed, as long as he has the skill sets that these guys need in the ever-changing environment. I would give you another example. There is Go Green Cricket that normally operates out of Valley Park Junior, and now it can't operate out of Valley Park Junior. So what they have done is tried to mentor youth via Skype, via or any virtual platform. So if that's what your son or daughter can do, please let them do it. So I was at a certain thought process. Any other questions before I move forward? I'm going to wait so that you guys can type your questions. Okay, volunteering. Okay, so in terms of volunteering, Farzana, they are mostly, Canada Summer Jobs is a paid position. There are certain websites that we received that are looking for volunteers. Patricia, if you have that, could you pass it on to Samir? I think you received a website on volunteering, and there are certain organizations that are looking for volunteers. So yes, that is important. Do volunteer your time. I know which organizations are looking for volunteers. So I was going to touch on seniors issues before I got a little distracted. So the seniors are asking, what about me? You have looked after the families, you've looked after the unemployed, you've looked after the businesses, what about me? And so I have passed that on. We have been discussing extensively with the Minister of, okay, I'm going to stop. There is, okay, Farzana, for volunteering, there is an organization in Don Valley East called, where was I? Deliver Ease. And there are a few more that are listed, so you can go and check. I am pressing on that website. There's lots more there, so please, in the chat box, the website has been put in. So coming back to seniors. So as you know, the seniors receive at least the OAS, the GIS, the GIC, Guaranteed Income Supplement, GIS, and they also receive CPP if they've worked, and the CPP has been indexed. So the first order of business of this government was to ensure that the retirement age was reduced to 65. Secondly, we wanted to ensure that there was farmer care. So Dr. Hodgkin was enlisted by the federal government to work on it. Thirdly, mental health was a critical issue. Fourthly, the New Horizons program was put in place to help seniors live a healthy life. And we've had so many organizations in the riding of Don Valley East who have applied and received the New Horizons funding program, funding. And this is like the Better Living, the Japanese Canadian Culture Center, other organizations that are helping seniors through dance, through art, through archival, archiving their records, through music. And they are saying this pottery. So I've been to all these places where they teach seniors a lot of skill sets to keep them busy. So it is important that they are able to keep themselves occupied and healthy. So we did a lot, and plus we also invested in building 7,000 units for seniors. Now, with this crisis, we had to look after the vulnerable, and we did. And as we are progressing, yesterday again, we passed it on to the Minister of Finance that the seniors are looking for a top up to their OAS and GIS. And this is really for seniors who are single, are living on their own. They're not living in social housing, because when you live in social housing, your rent is geared to income. And if your rent is geared to income, the moment we increase the OAS or GIS, the landlord increases it. And therefore, it's a vicious circle for these guys. So it's important that, thank you. So Ed, I'm glad you told me. That's why I brought this up, because I am looking to see on top of the OAS and GIS and the programs that we have instituted from 2015 to 2019, what other things can we do? We said we would let the seniors withdraw the RIF at 25% without a penalty. Now, this may not work for those seniors who do not have that type of savings, but it may work for those who do have the savings. Or what about the fact that the market has collapsed, and what about my savings being drained? Every one of us is facing that issue, and so we will have to wait. The market did take an uptake of about 25%. But Ed, I'd love to hear your thoughts on what exactly should we do. Should we increase the OAS and GIS? You remember that Paul Martin was the prime minister that made the CPP sustainable for 75 years. And if you ever saw me fighting with Jim Flaherty, the late Jim Flaherty, he was going to dip into this CPP account. And I said, no, you don't, to pay off your deficit, because this is something that is very near and dear to the seniors. So let me have your thoughts. I must have your thoughts. Now, from the Facebook, somebody has written, is there an update on CERB? I have heard that once one get a job paying more than $2,000, they then will have to pay back the CERB that received so far. No. Please respond to this person that if they have received a CERB and then they find a job which pays them, then they will be taken off the CERB, because the CERB, every 4 weeks, you have to respond to CRA's questions. Are you still unemployed? And if you state you are unemployed, then you still continue to get the CERB. You have to sign those forms online. But if you have got a job, then you have to let CRA know that you got a job, when you got a job, so that you are not dinged. You need that money. I know everyone needs that money. So it's important that you be very careful of managing what you have and how you are receiving the aid from the government, okay? So I hope that answers that question. Any other questions that we have? I'm trying to figure out if I've answered all the questions that I received from the website. I have. Has anybody got any questions on mental health and substance abuse support, for example? There is Wellness Together Canada, and you can track things there and find assistance there. The business account I've already talked about. Support for students. Farzana, is your son going to university? If that is the case, we have doubled the Canada student grants. So when the university starts and is applying for grants, then apply. Okay, please go to the flyer that we have sent you, and in that we have put down the website canada.ca/coronavirus. Guys, there's so much information that this government is giving out. It is imperative, and on a daily basis, They are updates because of the changes due to your input. So please, 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 I cannot overemphasize the importance of going to that website and looking at it. So, Farzana, for your benefit, we have created the Canada Emergency Student Benefit that you have to have a look at. With the Canada Service Grant, it will help students, especially the disabled students, find jobs in their community. And there's a financial assistance for students as well. So go on to that canada.ca/coronavirus website as well. The Canada's Summer Jobs Program. Okay, sorry. I'm one thing that I forgot to talk about is the 100. How many people know of people who are accessing food banks and who need food? So what I would suggest, the government of Canada has given $100 million to Food Share, Community Food Share, Food Bank Canada, Salvation Army, to help meet the needs, the critical needs of food insecurity. So if you have questions, we had put down in our previous flyer the address of Salvation Army in Don Valley East, and the Community Food Bank is in Don Valley East. It's at 33 Overland Drive or Boulevard. And so access those two venues if you know people who need food. As well, Farzana, you were asking about volunteering. United Way was given $9 million by the government of Canada to help the vulnerable seniors. And United Way approached all MPs within the GTA to ask which organizations they would recommend or which organizations will fill up the request for proposal so that they can equally distribute the monies. What this does is it gives the volunteers the opportunity, a paid opportunity, to go and deliver food and medicine to the vulnerable seniors or seniors who need delivery and can't go out. So this is one way in which we're getting the not the equipment, but the produce over to the seniors so that they do not have to go out and go shop, and they can keep themselves protected. So for the seniors, that's one aspect of it. So if anybody needs more information, and if you've forgotten where you kept my flyer, please email and we will send you that flyer again. So I'm glad. Thank you, Patricia, for reminding me about the $100 million. And with that, I am trying to figure out if anybody has any business questions or any other questions. I'm going to watch my chat box again. So I forgot, I do have the phone number for the Salvation Army. In DVE, the Salvation Army is at 150 Railside, and the telephone number is 416-285-0080. For all of us, it's our duty to find out if any senior needs, or not even senior, families who are vulnerable, who need essential service, who want food support at this time of need, can go to both the Community Food Share Program and to the Salvation Army. Okay? And I think I concur with you, increasing the OAS and GIS. Yeah. The helicopter money. Okay, so I like the concept of helicopter money, and I will basically send that over to Minister Schultz, the Minister for Seniors, and tell her that this is the input I got from my town hall. So, ladies and gentlemen, I do not see any more questions. And seeing none, I would like to wish you all good health. Please keep safe. We have 6 minutes to go. Please keep safe. Please, please, please keep your comments coming. Keep me informed of what your issues are. Every day we have a call. The first is a technical briefing on COVID-19 and what is going on from a health perspective and what measures everybody is taking at the border, etc. The second is from every 5:30 to 6:30 every day. We are on a conference call as a caucus. And as a caucus, we get your input is critical and we send that over to the cabinet. Thirdly, the 416, which is the Toronto caucus, meets every week. And we have meetings with the mayor because we know that the city of Toronto is going to be in great trouble because it will be in a deficit for $1.5 billion because it's losing revenue. So we need to work together as MPs from Toronto to help it out. So I am trying to find, okay, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here, for participating. I want your emails to keep on coming and your constructive feedback as to how we can improve programs, what other things are we missing out, and that way we can see what better things we can do. And with that, I bid you good health. Please ensure that you are keeping safe, your safe distance. I'm sorry, what was the question on CERB? Oh, they're not going to be paying back at any stage. Got it. Okay, they're not going to be paying back if they've got, okay, remind the person that if they got CERB because of COVID-19 and they got it legitimately, nobody's going to take that back once they go back to their job, as long as they notify CRA that they are now employed and they don't need the CERB, okay? That's what will be very clear that we do not get anything confused. So with that, I bid you all good health, and please maintain the physical distancing and stay safe. Together, we will overcome this challenge. It is a marathon, not a sprint. And with that, bye, thank you. And I'll be, by the way, I'll be on virtual parliament tomorrow, but it depends if I'm speaking or not. It will depend if I'll be presenting a petition from some constituent of mine. So let's see. Okay, take care. Bye.